Welcome to X Power Rankings, where likes matter. I'm your hostess at Catrice, and if you've spent any considerable amount of time on X, formerly Twitter, recently, you've probably seen at least one post poking fun at accounts that get no likes. They're often accompanied by a meme of a young man having a lively conversation with a brick wall. Well, you can't like what you don't see, and the goal of XPR is to standardize and scrutinize the data on select posts on X to determine which ones truly shine and if some seemingly popular posts are actually just flops with the benefit of an algorithmic reach around. My account currently hovers around 770 followers right now, up from around 575 after the Blue Sky exodus in winter 2024 wiped out over 10% of my audience. I'm one of the kids those clout chasing wannabe mean girls think don't even deserve to eat lunch because I sit alone in the cafeteria. And they're not even clout chasers, really, just attention whores. You'd need original content to cultivate clout, otherwise, it's just a bunch of losers tapping glass. The amount of regurgitated one liners, hot takes, and uncredited, stolen content on X amounts to watching a dog chase its tail and then clapping when it yaps. So, just how popular are the posts on X that are receiving all of this attention? Numbers don't lie. So, let's give this platform the ministration it deserves by countering the algorithm's preference for replies by focusing on likes. Elon Musk says the goal is unregretted user minutes. Theoretically, one should like and not just enjoy seeing, but actually tap the heart every post that the algorithm deems worthy of gracing your eyes. I, for one, am tired of opening the app and seeing posts like this at the top of my feed. I ran out of creamer, so I used this instead. It's basically the same, right? 21,000 impressions, 202 likes, 7 reposts, 253 comments, and in the 1 minute it took me to comment, it already had another repost. There's no fucking way in hell I believe that you aren't being purposefully obtuse for attention. It's embarrassing and pathetic. X is such a dump. Period. I'm so sick of seeing crap like this. Anybody who is paying $11 a month and is responding to stuff like this, do you realize that you're just putting the money in the pockets of people who are essentially dumb baiting you? The rage bait, the stupid bait, the reposting the same regurgitated crap, stealing popular reels from creators. Let me just go ahead and stop myself. Each week, I'll bring you 5 episodes of content that I found interesting on X. I'm going to do my best to keep it light and entertaining, focusing on posts that I think are fun, educational, or informative, and steering clear of toxic bait as much as possible. Let's go ahead and take a look at these guys. So these are all in alphabetical order based on when I put them in my file folder, right? That's how my phone organizes things. So it's going to be a little bit all over the place, and then I'll put them in an order as we go through how I'm measuring the metrics for the data. So this is from Ashley at Honey Too Easy. His Wordle started word gave me the ick. 231,000 views, 10,000 likes, 216 bookmarks, 525 reposts, and 51 replies. So replies are weighted like 75 to, wait, so what is it? Something like, they're really high, and it's up to as much as 75 times for replies to replies. So that's the main thing that drives the algorithm thinking that your post is popular because they want to keep you on as long as possible. So the reason that I'm focusing on likes is because they're supposedly so easy to give, right? And it should be that your timeline, your For You, is a whole bunch of stuff that you would like. So you would think that people just tapping the heart as they scroll past everything on their timeline should actually be a pretty reliable metric for how likable a post actually is. It's pretty on the nose and it's just flinging a penny in a wishing well. So why not? And then you can tell by certain, this will make more sense in the long run here, but like you can tell like posts that are really actually very cold based on likes must be highly driven by replies, but this is highly indicative of people are arguing or being rage baited by it. So like remember my heavy whipping cream example from earlier, that it's got like 50 more, which is actually quite a bit, it's 20% more um, replies than there are likes. It's low key ratioed, right? Because people are probably in the comments like, "Are you a dumbass?" It's literally just milk with a higher milk fat content. But every time a verified account does something like that on a post like that, it's flinging pennies in their wishing well. Why would you pay $11 a month for the privilege to see dumb shit on your timeline and then pay them for the privilege of telling them they're stupid? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, anyway, so her account has 1,100 followers. And I thought this was funny because I can come up with some five-letter words that would give me the ick, pussy being one of them. How the hell are you going to think the Wordle answer is going to have a Y at the end of a U in the middle? I don't even know. All right. Next post is from Cat Lover, who has 13,900 followers. Cat Lover says, my upstairs neighbor is just saying Ayo repeatedly in a different cadence each time. He has been doing this for 15 minutes. He's recording someone's hype line for a rap track. Something. Or playing that game. What's that game where it wants you to like say the stuff in rhythm or whatever really fast and not get tongue tied? Who knows? So this post has 479,000 views, 28,000 likes, 1,100 bookmarks, 968 reposts, and 121 replies. Next up is Hot Advice. I used to be just like you before I started going to therapy. I thought that was funny. 13,300 followers. And she says, your secret is safe with me unless it's funny. Yeah. All right. So 364,000 views, 37,000 likes, 676 bookmarks, 3.3 thousand reposts, and 23 comments. Next up is from Horror Fiend. And this is actually a post about, whoa, balloons, because it's their Twitter birthday, their ex birthday. And this is like, because it's my actual birthday, that's why I'm like, it's time to start doing something fun like this. And so here we are. Happy birthday to me. Time for the show to begin. Whoa, balloons. Horror Fiend has 2,000 followers, 2,000 plus. It's another thing that's kind of problematic with all of this is because the numbers are really, they're very broad, but that's okay. We're just going to keep it simple, right? This is just for fun-ish. This is our evil morning guy, 2,000 followers. Next up is I'm All In, Andy versus Middling Jokes and Existential Dread, 6,100 followers, and she says, being held for questioning sounds so nice. I thought this was funny. It's cute. And like I said, I do, after I take the snapshots for the data, I go back and I do follow them and like this post. I just don't let it clutter my own data. So I take the screenshots first and then I do that. And then that's also so that I don't use the same people's content repeatedly. Like once you're like one and done, once we've sampled you, you can, move along, enjoy the follow. 34,000 views, 1,500 likes, 63 bookmarks, 171 reposts, and 22 comments. Next up is Johnny Two Cellos. This is a relatively popular YouTuber. So he has 19,800 followers from Brooklyn, New York. That was terrible. I didn't know she was Canadian. Was mad at myself because I'm a huge South Park fan, and it took me a beat to figure this out. It has 850,000 views, and I know I lied. This this is the first rodeo. We're still getting all the kinks worked out. 34,000 likes, 545 bookmarks, 1,400 reposts, and 172 comments. Next up is from Star, J. Oscar Films. I like movies. 789 followers. So this is an account that's about comparable to mine. Star says, just worked 11 hours at the AMC, single-handedly keeping cinema alive. I mean, I don't know. Do you be hustling like the one person who works at McDonald's overnight? I don't know. Were you lonely in there? All right, 109,000 views, 10,000 likes, 137 bookmarks, 214 reposts, and 105 replies. Next up is Primbo. Fuck asparagus. Fuck asparagus? All right. Pomegranate, low-key, just fruity corn. Primbo has an obsession with fruits and vegetables. That's all right. 416,000 views, 35,000 likes, 739 bookmarks, 3,000 reposts, and 66 comments. And Primbo has 2,900 followers. Hi, Jen. Aw, heart emoji. Next up is Scrams Bunny. I'm going to kill myself from 3 years ago. Password screen, password hint, come on. 4.2 million views, 306,000 likes, 5.8 thousand bookmarks, 8,500 reposts, and 436 comments. Scrams Bunny It's Lucy Pill 19 UK follow flat motor for bonus content. I'm not sure what we're bonusing. Okay, whatever. 1,900 followers. The Scrams. Next up is Chainsaw Massacre. New year, new me. 22,700 followers. This is a bleed over from my alt account, and I took this after I followed. He almost immediately followed back. It's because when you go to your account and it shows like people that you follow that follow you. It's because I'm followed by Diana Prince, Darcy the Mail Girl from the last drive-in on both of my accounts, and so when the horror people see that, they just follow me back. This is a large part of how I've been growing my audience. So thank you, Darcy, Diana, real name, stage name. Who cares? You honestly think my name is Catrice? Come on. Chainsaw Massacre says, getting ready to make history. And this, I'm actually kind of surprised didn't become a bigger meme because I had previously seen this like 30 minutes prior to this as a Britney Spears in the makeup chair for the Baby One More Time video. And I thought I would be seeing a lot more of this. And then these were the only two I saw. Anyway, this is obviously, or maybe not so obviously, from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it has 3,400 views, 101 likes, 3 bookmarks, 15 reposts, and 3 comments. So those are the posts. So now we have to move on to how and what I'm calculating. So first and foremost, right, like I said, you can't like what you can't see. So just exactly how many impressions does it generally take for a post to even get a like? So the first and most obvious thing is just to divide impressions by like. It's your impressions per like. So I did that for all of these posts, and the average for these 10 posts was, drum roll, 19.848 is the average number of impressions to get one like. And like I said, this is obviously, it's a huge spread of how, we were going from like the top is 4.2 million and the bottom was under 1,000, I think, if I remember right. The least, yeah, so Horror Fiends post had only 853 impressions. So it's quite a spread to end up with just an average of 20. And if you look, it was the highest impressions per like was actually 34.16 on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, getting ready to make history post. And the least was 9.72 even, which was the hottest Vice post about I'll keep your secret unless it's funny. So that being said, let's get into exactly how and what I'm calculating here. So ultimately, we're getting to a metric that I call the LIMP, and that will be obvious because it is an actual on-the-nose anagram. And then we're going to use the LIMP to calculate the standard deviation and the z-score, and the z-score is what we're actually using to rank the post's actual heat, right? Their actual temperature and velocity, okay? So, and there's no way to know when or why or how or at what point the posts actually like officially die. These are things that I'll get into in later videos because I don't want this one to go on forever since it's dry and math anyway. So the first thing is to flip the impressions per like and calculate likes per impression, which gives us a very tiny decimal. And then we're going to divide by the total number of minutes at the time that I took that screenshot. And that gives us the super tiny decimal. And then we take that times a million, and that gives our parts per million. So now we're going to take the likes per impression per minute and divide by what I'm just calling the popularity. So we get the P and the LIMP, and that's just 1/10 of their follower count. And this just kind of helps to keep the numbers manageable and whatnot. So, but that is the LIMP. So we're doing likes per impression per minute per popularity, right, or per follower count. And that gives us the final score of a LIMP. And then from the LIMP, we calculate the standard deviation. And then once you have the standard deviation, you can calculate the z-score. Then we move on with these 10 posts and calculate the standard deviation, which is the sum of all of the data points minus the mean. So first you get the average, each data point minus the mean squared, the sum of all of those, and then divide by n minus 1, and then take the square root, and that gives us the standard deviation. So for this set of just 10 posts, the Mean was 0.2884, and the standard deviation was 0.3056. And once you have that, you can calculate the z-score. And the z-score is just an individual data point minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So we have all of the z-scores for these posts, and you can see on my pretty little chart here how well each of these posts actually performed. So there's only so many lines on the page, and so I had to kind of spread it out and have like a different spread. So if you see all the way over on the right, each square is a half a point from 4, 3.5, 3, 2.5, and 2. And then I went by quarters, 1.75, 1.5, 1.25 to 1, and then started going by tenths for the rest of the way, because the only one that got above a positive 1 in z-score was actually J. Oscar, the account that only has 789 followers, 109,000 views, 10,000 likes over the course of 1,177 minutes, gave it a z-score of close to 2.5. If this were actually to scale, it would be a couple inches off the page. It wasn't just a better performing post than the rest of them, it was significantly better performing versus its established audience, versus even though it only has 109,000 or 109,000 views and 10,000 likes and around 19-ish hours of age, it was actually still pretty hot. So I don't know. And that was the one about the working 11 hours at the AMC, single-handedly keeping cinema alive. Just a witty little anecdotal day in the life of me kind of a post is the thing that was the most popular out of this batch. The next most popular, as people might have expected, was Scram's Bunny, which was the weird password one, the password screenshot with just the hint of "come on" from 3 years ago. With 1,900 followers, but achieving 4.2 million views, 306,000 likes over just 739 minutes, it had a z-score of around zero point 0.7. And then you can see the next would be 28 months later. That was the horror fiend one about woe balloons with 2,000 followers, just 853 views and 26 likes over the course of 339 minutes. It had a positive z-score. And so did Ashley, which was the first one, the honey too easy about his wordle gave me the it. 1,100 followers, 231,000 views, 10,000 likes over the course of 1,269 minutes with a positive z-score of close to zero point 0.1. So then we move into the ones that were actually pretty cold, and I'm not going to go into each one of these in detail because if you want to pause the video and look, you can knock yourself out. But the actual worst performing, the coldest out of all of these was Johnny Tuccello, the account with 19,800 followers. That's a popular YouTuber with 800,000 views, 32,000 likes over the course of 1,423 minutes. Had a z-score of, I think, what was it, negative 0.892. So z-scores measure how far from the mean based on standard deviation, or how many standard deviations from the mean a post actually is. These are normalized for time. So this is an accurate snapshot of exactly how popular these posts really were. So by far, the most popular post in this batch was from the account with only 789 followers. Just a random waxing about his day at work being 11 hours and feeling like you're single-handedly keeping theaters open. That's it. No weird, crazy hot takes. No stealing somebody's YouTube reel. No backbiting people that don't fucking deserve it. No rage bait. No dumb bait. No bullshit. The most popular post came from an unverified account with only 789 followers. So keep that in mind as we move through this. We're going to keep adding more data points at a pretty expedient rate. If I'm doing about 75 posts per week or more, 70 to 80 posts per week, we're going to end up filling out this data set. So at the end of each episode, I'm going to recalculate the average, recalculate the standard deviation, and then apply that to calculate the z-score. So as we move on, it's going to be a rolling exponential rise in data, and it's going to refine the Z-score metric, and we're going to figure out just exactly what posts on this platform are actually popular and likable. So thank you for having an okay time with me, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.